You Dragon also knows Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and welcome to the Cryptocurrency 30-Day Challenge, Day 5, where the Bitcoin fork has happened and altcoins return to their normal levels, in fact, maybe even above, in a giant rebound where you could have made a lot of money in this if you'd made the right decisions. So, let's talk about a couple of things here. Let's talk first about the about Bitcoin doing its fork. It happened last night. Well, last night my time, depending on where in the world you are. And so the fork happened and Bitcoin split off or forked, and now we have Bitcoin Gold. So Bitcoin Gold, as of this video, checking on it, it is worth about $400 a coin. So it's worth about 8% of a Bitcoin full coin. Bitcoin Gold is. So now that means that any of you that had your that had your currency, your Bitcoin, offline or private keys, to have access to your private keys, unless the service that you were at is doing it for you, the fork has happened, and now it's up to you to realize your money. So now, will Bitcoin Gold stay at this $400 level? That's really hard to predict. I do not have any prediction on that, except to say that maybe not. But maybe it'll go down, and then maybe it'll go up. I don't know. It's so hard to say. So tomorrow it could be worth 40 bucks, just so you know. So those of you that did that, I guess that you can count your money, but really, can you count it until you've completed the fork? Meaning that I have currency, my Bitcoin, my private keys. Now, if I'm going to realize my Bitcoin Gold, I've got to do some sort of process which I have not figured out yet. I'm actually going to let everybody else figure it out today, and then I'm going to do it tomorrow or the next day. And then I will realize that gain. Now, the Bitcoin that I had in the challenge, which has been on GDAX, does not count in this because GDAX and Coinbase are not honoring the split. And now I can see it in the market trading because everything's so fluid in there that they would not count any of that. But if you had it in your Coinbase account, they announced that they have no intention of supporting Bitcoin Gold, and they leave themselves room to change that in the future. But as of right now, they say no. So anyway, then we have what's happened here in the markets, and let me just show you here. So Ethereum is up 8.38% at the time of recording this. You see this huge rise right here? This is right about the time of the fork. So let me show you Litecoin as well. See this rise right here? This is right about the time of the fork. And let's go back over to Bitcoin. Now, this is right about the time of the fork, and I don't know what to make of that because, you know, it was chugging steadily along, except that this is the exodus back out. Now, you had to have had your funds in a private key prior to the fork and through the fork, I would believe. So now I'm not an expert in forking, so I don't know, you know, what all the caveats are and everything, other than there is supposedly replay protection on this fork, which means that you can't accidentally spend the money in both marketplaces at the same time, whereas SegWit-X2 does not have that, and we'll get into that in a bit. But as soon as they dumped back out of Bitcoin, they just went right back into Ethereum and Litecoin and all of the other altcoins. In fact, the other altcoins, I don't have an image of it up here, but on Bittrex, it's a really good view of the other altcoins. And I hold altcoins there, which are not part of the challenge, but I hold altcoins there that are I've got Lumen, and I've got Monocoin, and I've got probably like 4 or 5 others. And all of them, yesterday I was looking at it, and I had about $120 or $118 worth that I had originally invested over there, and it went down to $103, and I'm like, oh shit, I did not make good decisions on that. But then today, it's over 120, and all of them are way, way up. Like, most of them are double digits percentages up. And so, will this last? Well, I don't know. But I want to point out something here that is a really great lesson learned. So pay attention to this. This is gold. Okay, so in Bitcoin is seen as the currency of all of the crypto markets. You may think that your US dollars or your euros are the baseline value for all of your cryptocurrency. Well, it may be for Bitcoin and for Ethereum, but for the rest of them, all of the other marketplaces typically look at them as being derivatives of Bitcoin, and Bitcoin being the primary factor, the primary currency. And so when you trade on these other exchanges, so here in Coinbase with GDAX, it's really simple because you see a dollar or euro value assigned to each one of your things. But when you go on to other exchanges, it's not that way. They are typically based on the value of Bitcoin or Ethereum. And so the markets look much, much different. And if you're in the group, which there's a link in the description, the traders group, when they make calls in there about when an entry point is, when a sell point is, and everything, they are making those calls based in numbers of the last few digits of Bitcoin. And so when they say 530 or whatnot, what they mean is it's 0.000530 or whatever is the entry point, and they'll say, and then sell again at 590, or they'll say 59 because they just take off the other zero. And so you got to get kind of used to that, because it's hard enough to think about all this stuff as dollar values on all of this stuff, but then you go into this another conversion in there, and you got to figure out, you're like, I don't even know how much I'm spending, which I've had to use. I don't have a link for it right now, but I have another site that shows me the conversions on different currencies into dollars. And I commonly go to this other site and I look up I look up Bitcoin if I'm buying another currency for Bitcoin, and I look and I see how many dollars is that worth, because I don't have any frame of reference on it. And so it's a little bit hard to figure out. So, okay, now this whole split here is the fork. What did we learn? We learned that Bitcoin market went crazy, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. It was, basically all over the place, a real roller coaster ride. So it was, let's see here. Let's look at like 1 hour chart, 6 hour chart. It's over the days, it's just been up and down, up and down, and up and down. It's felt a lot more than this, than what you see here, but it's been all over the place. And so when you are, here's what happened. Bitcoin, people used their altcoins to buy Bitcoin to be in for the fork, and then they sell off their Bitcoin to get back into their altcoins, and because that's where they want to be, but they wanted to be there for the fork. And that is what I can surmise. Now, what sense does that make on GDAX, that people are transferring into Bitcoin from their altcoins? And by the way, you got to set this up a day before, at minimum, if you're going to do this kind of stuff for the SegWit-X2 split, because the exchanges all locked their Bitcoin transfers. So Coinbase was saying that they were having large delays in transferring, and Bittrex completely froze all the accounts for like 24 hours beforehand and everything for this. And Coinbase says that they're going to freeze everything for this SegWit-X2 coming up. So you gotta pre-plan for this. I moved my stuff over 2 days early. I didn't have any problems. There was no delays or anything. And then I'm going to wait a day or two before I, take it back out of there. And so the Bitcoin thing sucked all of the altcoins down to lower levels, because Ethereum here, which is a pretty good example of, what happened here. I mean, Ethereum was down to 280 and now it's 310. So what does this tell you? So 280 to 310, that's a $30 increase. That's 10% on this. And so in that 10%, okay, now if you were in the fork and took advantage of the fork, how much are those new coins that you have worth? Are they worth 10%? Because it's hard to tell. So maybe you just have some stuff in offline storage, because we are going to be going through the SegWit-X2 during the 30-day challenge. So here's my plan as I see it at this moment, which is that I am going to sell my Bitcoin at when it's going crazy, when it hits a high, a day or two before the split. And then right before the split happens, I'm going to buy probably Ethereum if it's down low like this again. Maybe Litecoin. Litecoin has not had quite as big a spread on this, but it still has had a spread. And so I'm probably going to buy one of these, and then I'm going to let it go back up to the top again, up to normal, and I'm going to sell again. And then I'll just start trading like I want to normally do. And do I know where Bitcoin's going to go in all of this? I don't. But I know that this panic or this mania that was happening with the altcoins, I can totally take advantage of this the next time. And I think that I can conservatively make 7 or 8% on it by just waiting for the proper time. And 7 or 8% over a couple of days, I feel like is pretty good. Now, let's talk about, and we'll talk about this more, what my plan is as this approaches. It looks right now it's going to be about November 16th is when the next fork happens, and we end around November 18th on the challenge. So we are going through this on the challenge. Okay, so let's switch gears here just a little bit, and let me tell you where I'm at with everything here. So I am still stuck a little upside down, waiting for Bitcoin to come back up. I paid too high a price. I had thought that it was going to go up even higher and that I was going to sell, and then it dropped a little bit after I purchased in, and so I've bought a little bit high, and now I'm waiting. And I got to wait a little bit to sell. I'm determined that I am not going to sell something off and take a loss. I'm just not. I might sit at this for the rest of the whole damn challenge. And that's not very good, but it's life. And if you think this stuff is easy, now I've been spending hours and hours every day figuring all this stuff out, learning about this, and I'm still making some mistakes. So don't think that you can just walk right in and make a ton of money, because it's not that easy. It's really not that easy. And so right now, what I have is I have a $10 education. $10 is what I've lost. So out of my 100, I'm sitting at 89.29 because I bought into Bitcoin thinking it was going up, and I was already made another mistake. And so I thought I was going to, recover right there, and then the market dropped, and here I am. So, and it's okay. You know what? I want to be the hero in these videos, and I want to say, oh, hell yeah, look at this. I knocked it out of the park and everything, but let's keep it real. This is reality. And so, this is maybe you know, and I came into this challenge a little bit cocky because I made money before starting the challenge, and then the challenge put a little bit different pressure on me. It put a bit different pressure on me to perform with just $100, and it's hard with just $100. So now, if I looked at my performance and some of my other stuff that I've got that's not in that's not in here, you know, I've made 3% in the last 5 days of this challenge, and so that's been okay. You know, it's not bad, but anyway. It's just the way it is, and it's reality. And so I'm not going to sugarcoat it, you know, and I'm not going to like lie and pump everything up or whatnot. This is what it is. And so don't come into this thinking that you're just going to knock this out of the park like, you know, like some superhero or whatnot. Because those people who do knock it out of the park, they have a lot of wisdom. They have a lot of experience with these markets and everything, and that's how they're doing it. And so that's what we're doing right here. And I am 100% paying for my education right now. So I am down overall 10%. And I've been held for the last couple of days sitting in with my Bitcoin, and I'm hoping Bitcoin will rebound. If it gets above my buy-in price, I may liquidate out the portion that I have in here. So I've wanted to hold this much Bitcoin right here, 0.0039. It's about $25 worth. And I wanted to play with the rest because I wanted that to sit longer term, because I think that it's a really smart play to hold Bitcoin long term. And so I wanted to put a portion of that in. Now, for the challenge, I have to be maneuvering things around because, you know, this is what this challenge is about doing this stuff and being active. And it feels really dumb to me every day to do a video saying, I didn't do anything. So, you know, but hell of an education along the way. And I am so glad that I paid attention to what happened during this fork, because we've got another fork coming up, and damn it, I plan to take advantage of it. So I will put some of my money, some of my Bitcoin, I'm going to leave it off in cold storage, let's say, and some of it I'm going to play with, and I'm going to buy some of the altcoins when they are at their lowest, and then let it go up, and I'll hold on that. Woo-wee, look at that. That was a big dip. And so, you know, I will play with that on the side. For the challenge, you know, I got to do this right. I got to do this right. When I have money all over the place and I don't have to micromanage it, I think that that's the longer term play. And it is a long-term play, and I think that that's the better way to look at it. There are short-term trades that you do when you can see a trend and you can take advantage of something over a several-hour period. But other than that, you know, the long-term play is picking the right coins and sticking with them. And certainly Bitcoin is one of the right coins. Ethereum is not, in my opinion. And I watched a really great interview the other day with a gentleman who is a venture capitalist, and he ventures in with ICOs, and so he funds a lot of ICOs, and he he talked about how Bitcoin is designed to go up in value, and Ethereum is designed to stay stable as a transfer currency type of thing, or a baseline currency against the other coins. And so it's very interesting to hear him talk about that, how Ethereum is not designed to be the same way. And so Ethereum going up and down, but and I don't know what the really long term on Ethereum is, but it was just very interesting to hear this and to see this. So, you know, it looks like it hit almost 400 back here. And it's hit a low of, 200. So, you know, it does have play back and forth, but he did not think that like Ethereum would be, you know, in a couple of years would be 3,000 or anything like that. He's like, no, it's designed to hold its price. So now, again, I don't understand everything that's going on here. I'm just doing my best. I'm floating in this world, you know, trying to make good decisions in it. And so do share your experiences in your comments. How are you doing on the challenge? We have our Discord where you can post how you're doing. Are you up? Are you down? Are you sideways? Are you stuck? You know, where are you? We can discuss in there. We also have the Telegraph group. It's day trading. There's a couple of pro day traders in there. They'll let you in for a trial period into the group where they're making calls on stuff. You may not understand what all's going on in there, although those of you who are experienced with day trading may get in there and go, ooh, these guys, they're giving good information. I can follow this. I'm making money. And but the group does have a cost to it. And I think that this might be typical of a lot of stuff. I'm in another group that doesn't have any cost to it. And there is so much spam in it that, you know, there are people talking about cryptocurrencies and stuff, but I haven't seen any solid advice yet. And that's kind of what I'm looking for. You know, I want the solid facts. I want to know, you know. Also, you can take a look at my Twitter, at Marky Dragon. I have followed a couple of people who seem to be pretty good about their cryptocurrency stuff. And they seem to be making logical sense, and I'm learning things from them. And some of them are even making calls on Twitter. So you can take a look at my Twitter there. You can follow me on there. I'm not 100% active on Twitter. I don't tweet a whole lot, but I do read the other people that I follow and everything. And you're going to see video game stuff on mine. So because of course I come from the video game industry. So anyway. Okay, good success to you. We will talk again tomorrow. Let me know how you're doing. Post it in the comments. I want to see good or bad. I want to know your challenges, and I want to know what you've done for your wins. So please do share. I'm Marky Dragon. Take care.